I'm going to show you how I turned this into this. It's the same mannequin, same proportions, but completely different energy. Give me about 5 minutes and I'll show you how to master this simple mannequin, which can help you pose like they do in Evangelion. Dynamic, weighty, and a little bit weird in the best way. Alright, let's start with the boring version. Yeah, I know, this guy isn't winning any dynamic pose contests, but that's kind of the point. Mastering these proportions, knowing exactly how everything connects and balances, is what gives you control later. When you understand the neutral version, you can bend, twist, and push it without breaking it. So before we even talk about gesture, let's look at what's actually under the hood here. Evangelion has its own proportion system, and it's part of why everything feels so tall and so alien. You've got a small head relative to the body, which instantly makes the figure feel huge. A long torso that stretches past normal human balance, with a really thin waist that almost feels emaciated. That's what sells that fragile, stretched out look. Understanding why these proportions work means you can control them later. You can dial them back for humans or exaggerate them for stylized designs. That's the foundation. Once this mannequin makes sense, posing it becomes way easier. Okay, now we're moving into level 2. This is where that neutral mannequin finally starts to move a little bit. The challenge is keeping those Evangelion proportions, small head, long torso, endless limbs, while putting the mannequin in dynamic positions. That's where most people lose it. They nail the pose, but the proportions collapse. Think of this as proportion control under pressure. The goal here is to bend, twist, and stretch the mannequin without letting it drift back towards a normal human balance. If you can do that, if you can hold those Evangelion ratios through any rotation or camera angle, you can drop an Eva into literally any orientation and it'll still read right. One of the best ways to practice this is by studying Evangelion toys or action figures. They've already built with the correct proportions, so when you look at how they're posed, crouching, running, even hanging upside down, you're seeing real examples of how far the design can be pushed without breaking. Try sketching from those toy poses using your mannequin template. I go on Pinterest and I look at these all the time. Focus on where the center of gravity sits and how the long limbs wrap around the gesture line. That's the muscle memory that makes you fluent. Okay, level 3, application. Now I'm drawing this one with a finalized intent. There are a few levels to this. Some people start with an underdrawing of their mannequin in the pose, and then layer shapes and armor over it. That's totally fine to do. It's a great way to build confidence and check proportion. What I'm doing today is going straight in, because I've internalized this mannequin we've been using. Once you've posed it enough times, you start to feel where everything sits. You can apply those Evangelion proportions directly as you draw. That's the real goal. Not skipping steps, but absorbing them. Once the mannequin lives in your head, you can move it freely. Your drawings start to flow instead of being engineered. Now, I haven't gone over the exact shapes I'm using here. That's a whole topic on its own. In the next video, I'll break down how to actually study those shapes and even design your own Evangelion-style variations so you can bring this shape language into your own work. If that interests you, please follow along because I'm going to do an entire series on Evangelion, going over all the things that make that series incredible from an artistic standpoint. So that's how I approach posing. Starting with the mannequin, keeping those Evangelion proportions in mind, and slowly pushing it until it feels alive. If you can nail this stage, every design you draw after this gets way easier. You'll be able to drop your characters into any pose, any scene, and they'll still hold together. Next time, we'll look at how to actually study the shapes themselves, the armor breaks, the curves, the angles, and even design your own Evangelion-style iterations so you can use it in your own work. This is what makes the mannequin look cool. So if you've been sketching along, save this mannequin. We're going to build right on top of it right here in the next one.